The Aam Aadmi Party has got a resounding verdict from the people of Delhi, but the Delhi High Court's verdict in a case will be of far greater importance to the common citizen of India. This case involves the right of an Indian citizen to travel abroad and express her opinion. Last month, the government decided to stop this woman from traveling abroad. Her passport was stamped offload. Her name apparently was on the lookout notice of an Indian intelligence agency. Presumably, Priya Pillai, who works with Greenpeace, is engaged in some kind of anti national activity, and her travel would have been a serious threat to the country. Now, Pillai has requested the Delhi High Court to allow her the privileges of a citizen and let her travel abroad. What is curious about the government's decision is that there is no clarity about why she was offloaded. The hearing suggests that the government believes that espousing the cause of people displaced or likely to be affected by mining is anti national. So, what is obviously political speech seems to have been deemed anti national. Let us recognize and accept that any project or initiative, either under the moniker of development or that of private enterprise, can be opposed by citizens. This opposition could be in narrow self interest, it could be because there is a belief that the project is going to ruin the environment, or that it could cause damage in the future, or it could be that some people indeed think that the project is against the interests of the country as they define what is in the country's interest. Whatever may be the precise reasons for such opposition, there can be no denying any citizen the right to oppose. When the state decides to refute or rebut such criticism or such opposition, the state does what is expected. It responds. And this is a right that is also given to private enterprises. To decide that opposition to state supported enterprise is an act of treason or sedition because that is what the use of the anti national label leads to is to engage in an act of silencing political and public speech. And that has no place in a democracy. In fact, in the case of Pillai, the state had earlier decided to stop money coming to Greenpeace, her organization, because the source of the funds was an organization that was on the watch list of the Ministry of Home Affairs. Mercifully, the very same judge who is hearing the present case decided to release the funds. And he categorically stated that disagreements with the policies of the Government of India could not, per se, be construed as actions which are detrimental to the national interest. And this brings one to the rather strange law that regulates not for profit organizations in India. An international entity as a business can set up shop and engage a public relations agency to lobby and engage in propaganda. But an Indian not for profit entity that seeks foreign funds has to secure permission from the Home Ministry, no less, to get funds. So a foreign company can set up shop in India and engage in public relations or propaganda. But say a bunch of farmers opposing the foreign company's efforts can only get foreign funds after getting a license from the Home Ministry. Though called a permission, the process is akin to securing a license under the old permit quota Raj. And mind you, it was not this government, but the previous UPA government that made this process even more onerous. So a not-for-profit entity in India is at a greater disadvantage vis-a-vis a for-profit entity, including a foreign for-profit entity, when it comes to accessing foreign capital to exercise the rights of free speech and expression. Now, don't get me wrong, it is not my case that the farmers are always right and the corporations always wrong, or vice versa, or that Priya Parameswaran Pillai and Greenpeace are right in the opposition to Mahan Coal Limited and the SR-AV Birla joint venture is wrong. Far from it. The issue is that both have equal right to voice their opinions, and both should be able to travel and seek and utilize resources for espousing their interest. If Mahan Coal Limited or any other company for that matter can access foreign capital and use it to further their interest, there is nothing that should stop anyone from accessing foreign capital to help them make their point, or in this case, for example, to travel abroad to argue their case and further their cause. There cannot be anything sacrosanct about what we call developmental projects. There are enough provisions under Macaulay's IPC that can be used against treason and sedition. But conflating the state's belief or the stated policy of the day with national interest and denying liberties is not something that we can grant. And that is the verdict that is awaited from the court in Delhi.